Good day,
Yes.
everyone. This is Tammy from Unipro Consulting Limited, wishing everyone good health. Here's another episode of our weekly podcast with Ray. Hi,
Hi,
Ray.
Tammy. How are you? And how's everything?
Well, I'm good. I'm always good. But if you're going to ask about the Philippines, well, there's so many things happening here.
Really, what happened?
Well, like one of the Philippine volcanoes going to erupt anytime soon. It's been releasing some sulfur dioxide that really harms our health here. So double masking is really a must right now.
Oh, that's really scary. Is that far from your place?
The place is maybe 2 to 3 hours drive from my location, so I guess it's quite near.
Oh my gosh, better
Yeah.
to stay indoors at the moment.
Yes, I know, and for sure I will. Anyway, it's also pandemic and cases are still the same. Everything, so we're not going out anytime soon.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of bad news. And I heard that it seems that your former president passed away recently.
Yeah, that's true. That's very sad. He was well loved by many Filipinos here. Well, I love him too. But everyone will go there. It's just a matter of time.
True, true. So, what are we gonna discuss today?
Today, we're going to talk about opening a bank from overseas.
Oh, yes. Sounds great. What do you have in mind?
Well, this would probably help foreign sellers do business easier by opening a bank internationally.
Correct. And I think the first question that comes to my mind is, can I open a bank account while living in another country? And the answer is yes, of course.
Yes, I agree, of course. Actually, there are a lot of inquiries regarding opening an offshore bank account, especially those business owners living in a different country that sells online. So they prefer having an offshore bank account, of course, to claim the offshore.
Okay, let's help them understand first about international banks and let's say offshore banks and how it works.
Okay, so how does it work?
Okay, let me explain first that an international bank is a financial entity that offers financial services such as payment accounts and lending opportunities for foreign clients. These foreign clients can be individuals or companies, though every international bank has its own policies outlining with whom they do business.
Yes, remember that opening an offshore bank also depends on that bank, the policies they have, but once you meet their standard, it will be easier for you. But don't worry, later on we will discuss the countries where it is easier to open a bank account.
Yeah, let's discuss that later. Meanwhile, the purpose of opening an offshore bank typically is for financial and legal advantages, such as greater privacy, lower, lower tax rates, or tax free ease of access to deposits.
Yeah, knowing what is happening these days, the economy is fluctuating. It is better to protect your assets.
Yeah, there are a large number of account holders on a daily basis who are deciding to choose offshore banks to protect their wealth. Yet, this is just one of the tons of reasons why using offshore bank service and why it's popular.
Yeah, maybe for minimizing tax burden, high level of privacy, around the clock availability, currency diversification, and these are what you can also take advantage of by owning an offshore bank account.
Precisely. So let's go on which offshore banking jurisdiction is the best option for you. And I will share four important tips on this. First is the reputation, second is remote opening, third is deposit, and fourth is processing time and other considerations.
Wow, that's great. Let's start off with the reputations. In planning where to open an offshore bank, you should consider a well reputed bank country that is more likely to bring a highly pro business and stable environment. It might be challenging for a foreigner to open a bank account by yourself in such countries.
Yes, due to its complicated requirements as compared to those in other countries, more efforts will need to be made to open an offshore bank account in those places.
Actually, I personally suggest Singapore in Asia. I think this is the best place to choose when opening an offshore bank account. I'm not saying that it is easy, however, compared to other countries, I think this is the best option.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And would you like to tell us why Singapore?
Okay, why Singapore? We all know that Singapore is the top offshore bank account in Asia, and there are so many reasons why we choose this country. It has a high level of flexibility and convenience, starting from applying to open a bank account, as many banks in Singapore allow clients to establish their offshore bank account remotely.
Yes, and it is the banking experience for Singapore non-residents who wish to open an offshore bank account from abroad. As a global financial hub, Singapore is a top choice for most offshore investors around the world.
Yeah, great. What about remote opening? Because we know that many foreigners are huge fans of remote account opening, as will relatively make it convenient for them.
Yeah, this is one of the considerations to look at, which is the remote opening. The fact that you do not need to schedule the business plan to take the flight for a physical meeting with the bank like traditional methods. And this can really save your time and money as well.
Yeah, of course. Another thing to consider is the deposit, because a large number of foreigners may think of low deposit as the key factor to find their best offshore bank account, especially for those being maybe the startups, entrepreneurs, or the small medium enterprises.
That's right. And some offshore banks even do not require the initial deposit for opening a bank account, but some banks, on the other hand, usually require the deposit minimums for foreigners at affordable cost.
Yes, I agree with you. That's why there are a lot of business owners who are checking each bank for requirements, like which bank suits their business.
Other than that, that's the processing time. In most cases, the process of opening an account can be done very quickly, but it depends on how easy it is to open in that particular offshore banking country, though.
Yeah, actually, the time frame of most offshore banks for the account opening process is quite similar to each other, but it's still case to case basis.
Yeah, typically it can take you only several working days to get your account opened. However, it should be noted that how fast and how trustworthy the provided documents are significantly important in determining the processing time. So it will still depend on many factors.
Yeah, many factors. And I think if you're still eyeing Southeast Asia, Singapore is still the best place to be. But if not, then maybe check on other places like Puerto Rico or Belize or many more.
Yeah. And now that we have pointed things out, there are also other considerations that you have to check on, like a list of prohibited countries for opening bank accounts, which is set, but searching the suitability between your nationality and the ban policy is very necessary.
Yeah, I know it's really sad, but you just have to check on the banks due to maybe some money laundering or something like that.
Yeah, but don't worry, as long as you show proper documents or meet the requirements, I think you are all set.
Yeah, another one is the business category of the customers, allowing them ease of opening a business bank account. However, it is not very popular. In most cases, offshore banks share in common what business categories are allowed or prohibited. So, sifting the connection between your business category and the offshore bank policy is relatively essential.
So, if you're planning to open a bank account in Asia, check on Singapore. While from other countries, you can check on Puerto Rico, UAE, something like that. But I still think Singapore is the best option.
Yeah,
Just check on which country your business best suits.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And if you are considering Asia, then you can message us at info@uniprohk.com for more information. We can assist you from opening a bank account to claiming your offshore.
Yes, and that's it for today's podcast. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Ria. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.